You're watching Taste the Victory.
BT12 is introducing a lot of legacy support, and today we have the legacy support for Red Hybrids. One of the protagonists of the Digimon franchise, Takuya, was Season 4 of Digimon Frontiers. With the crossover episode in Digimon Cross Wars, he is getting new support to celebrate that episode of the season. Hybrids gimmicks traditionally have been digivolving over their tamers to quickly and easier get to a level 5 and a level 6 with stronger effects based on having the hybrid trait or tamer in its sources. It was a very aggressive and fast deck, but Red Hybrid specifically shifted to more hide and raising area and come out OTK strategy with Ancient Greymon. While this is still an aggro deck after the new supports, it introduces the new flavor of deletion when you swing into your security to reward you for the early aggression. So let's go ahead and look at the deck and see how we're going to support that strategy. First up are our eggs. We only have 4, and that is Yokomon. On deletion, if you have a red tamer in play, draw 1. While we won't end up running as many tamers as we did in the peak of hybrid decks of BT7 with like blue and yellow hybrids, we do still have quite a few, and we will always be having one out because it plays into the main strategy of this deck. So Yokomon is basically always a free draw 1 in a color that doesn't have too much generic draw power, and in a deck that plays stuff from your hand a lot because of their on deletion effects. Yokomon is really important to keep our hand size up and replenish it when we play stuff out from a deletion effect. So I prefer 4 Yokomon to make sure we always see it and always have that draw alive as long as we have a red tamer. Then we start our rookies. If you can see the count up here, it does say 16, but we only have 14 that we can actually digivolve over since Bokomon is a white Digimon with no digivolution cost. First up, we have the new Flamemon introduced in this set. It is 3 memory to hard slam, 1000 DP. On play, by trashing 1 card with hybrid in its traits from your hand, draw 2. Inheritable, your turn, while Digimon is hybrid or 10 warrior in its traits, it gains plus 2000 DP. The inheritable is great because not only do we get to live our security checks more safely, we also have a lot of effects in this deck that are based on the amount of DP we have. So being able to make sure we hit those thresholds is really important. The on play is incredible. It trashes 1 card with hybrid in your hand, which sets up your trash for the Takuya warp effect on one of the tamers and anything else that is based around having hybrids in your trash, and it also lets you draw 2, potentially unbricking you. 2 is huge in this game. So it's a fantastic one that we absolutely want to max out at 4 if we had to choose any one of them to max out. After that, we have the old Flamemon all the way back in BT4. This is 3 memory to hard slam, 2000 DP, and he is a searcher that on play reveals the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 Digimon card with hybrid in its traits, and or 1 red tamer among them to your hand, and bottom deck the rest. So this is really great because it potentially grabs you 2 cards that you were looking for, either a hybrid or a red tamer. Fantastic to make sure we have more consistency options, so we max it out. This is Flamemon from BT6. It is 4 memory to hard slam, which is getting kind of expensive for a rookie, 3000 DP, and it only has an inheritable effect to give something with hybrid or 10 warrior in its traits piercing. While that is definitely very nice, we will most of the time just be swinging at face to attack security and ripping through security quickly that way, and then just end it with a warp digivolve or a hybrid over tamer for game, because it's a nice to have but not necessary card. Then we have Flamemon from BT7. 3 memory to hard slam, 1000 DP. On play, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, add 1 Digimon card with hybrid in its traits, Susanoo or Takuya among them to your hand, and bottom deck the rest. So this one does not grab multiple like the previous one, so it's not as good as a searcher. However, it is still a searcher with a fantastic inheritable, so we're going to run it at 4. Your inheritable is on deletion. You may play 1 Takuya Kanbara from your hand without paying its memory cost. So that is incredible to keep cycling and make sure you always have plays ready on the field after slamming into security and getting deleted because you're being so aggro at an early level where it's likely for you to be deleted. So that is amazing just for its inheritable alone. Then we have Bokomon. Hybrid fans must be very familiar with this card. It is 3 memory to hard slam, 2000 DP, reveals top 5, and is the best searcher in this deck. You get to grab 1 card with hybrid or 10 warrior in its traits and 1 tamer among them to your hand. And then your turn, once per turn, when one of your tamers digivolves, gain 2 memory, making most of your level 4 digivolutions completely free. On top of that, being an extra body you can swing into security to chip is really, really useful. This dude does so much roll compression into 1 card, it's so good. We're going to be running it at 2, however, since this deck does shift away from the just digivolve over a tamer every turn playstyle, and it's more traditional stacky now. It doesn't climb all the way up to a level 6 as often, but like you do want to value your inheritables and digivolve over them now, so Bokomon is a little less necessary than it was before. Then we move on to our level 4s, of which we are running 11. These are mostly the new ones introduced in this set because they offer some really great playstyles to complement the deletion-based effects. First up, we have the new Agunimon. It digivolves 2 from a red level 3, 5000 TP, 5 memory to hard slam, or digivolve 1 from BurningGreymon to represent the slide evolution from the Digimon Frontiers anime. You may digivolve this card from your hand onto one of your Takuya Kanbara as if it is a level 3 red Digimon. So there's the traditional hybrid digivolve over tamer effect to represent the anime. And then on deletion, you may play 1 Flamemon from your hand, suspend it without paying its memory cost. cost. On deletion, you may play one Takuya Kanbara from your hand without paying its memory cost. So if you get both of these guys out in a stack, that is fantastic to be able to play like the old Takuya and the new one to set up for a warp play and also guarantee you your memory, because one of them is a memory setter now. So really great inheritable there. And then the main effect on deletion is really good when you have the old Flamemon underneath it, because on one swing, if you get deleted in security, you get to play a Takuya for free and you get to play a Flamemon for free, including the on-play effect. So you get to follow up with more searches, or you get to fill up your trash for your warp effect and then draw two. It's a fantastic combo. Ideally in this game, the ideal Digivolution like opener you're going to see is going to be like this Flamemon and this Agunimon over it, and then maybe a BurningGreymon to have the effects live underneath it right away. But usually it's going to be like this Flamemon underneath the new Agunimon, and then like that is your fantastic opener. Really ironic that one of your best openers is Digivolving in the Raising area for a hybrid focus deck, but that is the new playstyle it is shipped to get the deletion and inheritables off. Next up is the new BurningGreymon introduced in the set. 6 memory to Heartslam, 6000 DP, 3 from a red level 3, or Digivolve 1 from Agunimon. You may Digivolve this card onto one of your Takuyas as if it was a level 3 red Digimon for a memory cost of 2. When Digivolving, this Digimon gets plus 2000 DP for the turn. Your turn, when this Digimon is hybrid or 10 words in the traits, it gets plus 2000 DP. I really like this effect because the plus 2000 plus the inheritables from like Takuya, if you Digivolve Aguni over that, is usually putting this guy into the 10,000 DP range, which then gets the security effect for the Takuyamon to get it to memory when checking security. So that is really good synergy there to get that effect live early and then extend your plays because of the 2 memory gain. It also has the inheritable. While this Digimon has hybrid or 10 warriors in its traits, it gets plus 2000 DP. So again, really easy to hit that DP threshold to get all those effects that give you bonuses based off of having big DP. It's really good for early aggro. However, the old BurningGreymon from Booster Set 7 is also a fantastic card. It Digivolves 3 from a red level 3 or 1 from a level 4. It's not like just Agunimon in a name anymore, so that's really good for the genericness there. It's 6000 DP. It can Digivolve over a Tamer as well. And then when Digivolving, if you have a card with hybridness traits or Takuya and its Digimon's evolution cards, delete one of your opponent's Digimon 4000 DP or less. This is a fantastic effect to snipe a bunch of stuff. You could stop any memory blockers. You can stop Digivolution cost blockers. In the mirror, you can snipe opposing Bokomons because it's less than 4000 DP. So that is a really good effect there to have in a pinch, which is why I do like to run it at 3 copies. However, I'm not maxing it out since it is good to be able to, cycle with that and then snipe something. But I think I prioritize the other Greymon to be able to go for the early aggro. The only level 5 we are running in this deck is the best one in the red hybrid archetype, and that is Aldamon from Booster Set 7. It is 8 memory to Heartslam, 8000 DP, 3 from a red level 4, or when one of your Digimon with a Tamer card and its Digivolution card is Digivolved into this card in your hand, reduce the memory cost of Digivolution by 2, meaning usually you're going to go into this guy for only 1 memory. That's pretty crazy. And then when Digivolving, if a card with hybrid and its traits is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, this Digimon gets plus 4000 DP for the turn, which makes it 12k before any other effects that give it a DP boost and it's inheritable, so this dude's going to be huge at the early game. Then it has inheritable, while Digimon is hybrid or 10 words in its traits, it doesn't activate security effects on option cards it checks, which is invaluable to make sure all your checks go through in this deck when you warp Digivolve into a BurningGreymon or something like that. This card is amazing because it's easily going to set off your Takuya inheritable to gain you 2 memory and continue your plays, usually 4 game, and then like it's so early to get a 12,000 beater to potentially swing over something too if you need to remove something in a panic. It's a very versatile card that is super easy to go into. It's amazing. And finishing off our Digimon are our level 6s and our level 7s. First up is the new EmperorGreymon introduced in this set. It is 11 to Heartslam, 11,000 DP, 3 from a red level 5, security attack +1 naturally, and then when Digivolving, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 6000 DP or less. If this Digimon has a red Tamer card and its Digivolution cards, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with DP less than or equal to this Digimon instead. Really great effect to make sure, because like that does count your inheritables, so it's a really great effect to make sure you can delete anything on the board. In a format where Huntress is running around wild with Quartzmon, this is really important to be able to delete that and then go into something that can unsuspend for game. And then on deletion, you may play 1 Takuya Kanbara from your hand or trash without paying its memory cost, which is again just more of the floating that this deck now has because of the new support. It's really good in case this thing gets blown up early and you still have a follow-up play. So this card is amazing. I feel like in this format you have to max it out to make sure you could get rid of a Beelzemon or a Quartzmon or anything that's threatening huge pressure on you. Then we have EmperorGreymon from BT7. This is the secret rare. 4 members Digivolve over level 5 that's red, 12,000 DP. When Digivolving Blitz, which is good for ending game. And then your turn, once per turn, when this Digimon is blocked, unsuspend it and gain 1 memory for each Digivolution card this Digimon has with hybrid in its traits. So this heavily punishes your opponent for blocking, and while they may still be able to buy another turn because of that, you will usually be able to set up like a crazy board state or get rid of anything else on their board to make sure they don't win with the extra turn that they bought by blocking. So like this guy is amazing and it's usually going to end games for you. However, we also do have the Omnimon. This card is really good, especially into stuff like Hunters. because this guy will delete the Quartzmon, and since everything was forcefully suspended, this guy will unsuspend now the Quartzmon is deleted and still go for game if they tried to stop you from going for game with that Quartzmon. So this guy's amazing by doing all that because he has Blitz, unsuspends when Digivolving, and then he also has that protection effect, which truthfully doesn't come up too much since you're only ever going into this guy to end game, but if something goes wrong, it is there to protect you, which is pretty nice. You could definitely play with this ratio. If you want a more budget option, you could go down 1 and go to this guy, or if you really want to go budget, you could cut down EmperorGreymon entirely and just add in another level 4 to support that, to have better consistency when digivolving. But I think 11 is perfectly fine if you need to be playing with your ratios. But that is an option. Like if you can't afford this guy, since he is a secret rare, I don't know what he costs off the top of my head, but I know he's like probably going to be up there being a secret. Oh no, he's a super rare. Okay, so like that's really not that bad. If anything, I thought this guy was a secret for some reason, but yeah, that is another option. Like if you're more worried about hunters, you could probably go into this dude to be able to do that combo of popping with Emperor Grey and then going to Omnimon. But either way, both of these ratios are fine because I think because this guy has Blitz anyways, so like it's another way to end the game, and it's really up to your personal preference, I believe, or what your local meta is. And finally, we're ending the list with our tamers and our options. So our only option is 4 of Atomic Inferno, and we are being a little bit greedy with that number because in the early game it could be kind of bricky, but like really, no, this card is fantastic. 4 copies to give us better odds of seeing it in security, and if not, to just have it in our hand because it's a fantastic option for only 1 memory cost. Main, one of your Digimon with hybrid in its form gets plus 3000 DP, security attack plus 1, and your turn when its Digimon is blocked, gain 3 memory for the turn. In security, all of your Digimon gain security attack plus 1. So on the right turn, this security effect absolutely wins you the game, and it's just super annoying for your opponent. So 4 copies to make sure it gets in there is totally fine. It's hilarious, but its main effect is also fantastic because you can put this underneath something like a Agunimon. It's such an early level, and 8000. And depending on which decks you're going into, like if you're doing the mirror or if you're fighting hunters or even crossheart in some situations, like that's going to live and get all 3 to 4 checks or whatever you put underneath it. So even in the early game, I truly don't think this is a bad card to see because yeah, I'll go in with my 6000 DP 2 checks Flamemon, that's fine with me, or this guy over underneath an Agunimon, and then just set up my next turn with your inheritables and they're on deletion. So like I really don't think there's too many scenarios where this card is really bad to see unless it's like turn 1 and you clog like 3 of them after mulliganing. That would suck. But again, I think you can just play around it and just lean into the aggro strategy of it. I really like it. I think it's great to sack at 4 copies. Then we have the Tamers. First up is the new Takuya. This is introduced in the set. 4 memory to Heart Slam. Security effect, place this card without paying its memory cost, like every other Tamer. Start of your turn guarantees you 3 memory, which is great to make sure you have enough memory to make plays. And Heritable, your turn, this Digimon gains plus 2000 DP, and then if this Digimon has 10,000 DP or more, it gains your turn when this Digimon checks your opponent's security, gain 2 memory, and that is once per turn. So that effect is one we've been referencing throughout the entire profile because it's amazing. Like that gives you the memory to be able to extend plays and either win that game or put on so much pressure that your opponent can't answer you next turn. It is huge for extending plays. It's incredibly important. So I think in the early game, you're definitely going to prioritize getting this Takuya out. However, the other one is not bad either since it's always threatening that warp Digivolution per game. But yeah, this guy gives you that early aggression and it gives you guaranteed memory. So you kind of want to prioritize this one if you can, since it's all really easy conditions to meet and really helps you in the early game. Yeah, fantastic one we have to max out. Then we have the old Takuya from Booster Set 7, 3 memory to Heart Slam. Plays itself from security. Main, once per turn, you may place 5 cards with hybrid and its traits from your trash under this tamer in any order to Digivolve it into EmperorGreymon in your hand for its Digivolution cost, as if this tamer is a level 5 red Digimon. Inheritable, Digimon gains plus 2000 DP, while Digimon has 10,000 DP or more, it gains security attack plus 1. So there's the other DP check-in effect that I mentioned earlier in the profile. Really good to make sure you could go for game with stuff, or in the early game you can just put on a bunch of pressure. Being able to warp Digivolve is amazing, especially with the old Emperor Grey that gives us Blitz. It combos really well. It also gives us an emergency button to go into this guy early to get rid of Quartzmons and other threatening stuff like that. This card is incredible. Once this thing's on the field, your opponent is always scared because this thing, like, easily, you are going to go in for like 2 to 3 checks with this guy or this dude or Aldamon off of a Atomic Inferno, and then this dude just threatens lethal, like warping and stuff like that. Incredible tamer that is super important to this deck to always punish your opponents at threat and lethal. An interesting ruling trivia about this Takuya here. So this is an important thing you need to understand when checking security. Your turn, when this Digimon checks your opponent's security, gain 2 memory. So a lot of people will check security and gain memory right away, and that's totally understandable why anyone would assume it works that way. I would have thought so too, but if you look into the rulings, if you battle a Digimon, you gain it right away because there's no effect that is coming up interrupting that effect. However, if you check security and you check an option card, you cannot gain the 2 memory yet because a new effect has triggered that goes to the front of the line and needs to be resolved first because this game is last in, first out for effect resolution. So if an option is revealed, it needs to check it first, and if that option deletes your Digimon, it is no longer there on the field to resolve this effect. So unfortunately, a security option will interrupt the memory gain from this effect, but battling with a security Digimon will not. So that is just something to keep in mind when going to locals and tournaments and stuff. So that's just a little interesting ruling trivia for you guys there to make sure you were playing to the best of your ability with red hybrids. But that is going to be the list. You're basically digivolving up into your level 4s to 5s and getting early aggro in quickly, and then playing guys out the float like extra Takuyas or extra Flamemons to be able to have follow-up plays, continue checking, and eventually go into Takuya Kanbara with the Warp Digivolution to end games with the EmperorGreymon, or remove a threat with the new EmperorGreymon. The new Takuya extends your plays very well. So yeah, while you're not evoing over your tamers as much as you used to be, you are still doing it and getting really good rewards off of it. It's just early aggro. You just digivolve up to your level 4s, you swing, you digivolve up to your level 5s to get the inheritable effects off and get some early security attack +1 off of your tamers or off of your memory gain. It's fantastic. So that's essentially the deck. Early, fast aggro that you're not worried about getting deleted from, because almost all of your stuff floats into something that offers a very powerful follow-up play. Turn your brain off and swing those cards sideways. This is a really fun deck. Let me know how you guys are building red hybrids though, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, remember to stay hungry until you get a taste of victory.